In my hand, I hold a bingo card. But don't worry, we're not talking natives in casinos.
Bingo!
That particular bingo card was made to inform journalists covering Indian country how a lot of their coverage is stereotypical. This is just one funny example of how Native people find the humor in our own situation. Which brings us to today's episode. How can laughter help Native communities heal from trauma? Welcome back to another episode of Sovereign Innovations. I'm your host and local indigenous creature, Cheyenne Barefoot. Some of you may have heard the phrase, laughter is the best medicine. And if you haven't, well, now you have. Indigenous peoples have used humorous storytelling to make our communities chuckle and sharply exhale through our nostrils for literally a millennia. You'd think that with all the bad stuff we've been through, that we'd be the stoic, emotionless tropes you see on TV. But I swear, Native Americans are really great at taking pain, grief, and parts of our grim history and turning all of that, tastefully mind you, into dark, satirical comedy gold. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, dark comedy's not gonna solve all wounds. And it's not so much the jokes as much as it is the community that you share them with, which is why I'm taking a well-deserved break here at the Gathering of Nations Powwow. Come on. So we're talking about laughter is medicine. Do you have a favorite Native joke, or do you want to talk about the role that humor and laughter has played in your life, in your community as Indigenous people, as Native people?
Yeah, I think a lot of Natives are funny, and it just comes naturally. We just love to laugh.
Why did a native cross the road? You don't say.
My cameraman's over there laughing. He gets it. He likes it. He thought it was funny. What is the role humor's played in your life?
I'm going to ask you a joke. You just say no. Do you know what a chicken rap is?
No.
Bok, 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 ba-bok, ba-bok, bok, bok.
That's a chicken wrap.
I try to make people laugh, try to make people's day. Sarcasm is my thing. Everyone needs laughter in their life.
How much?
I feel like when we all get together and are all just joking around and having fun, it's just that sense of community.
When you go to ceremonies up in South Dakota, but then in the camps, all you hear is laughter through the whole camp, right? And so it's always good. It's good medicine.
You see, you don't mind if I eat, right? Native people love sharing fun stories with one another, and it doesn't all have to be grim, It's just about sharing in the joy of communication. These gatherings are a critical part of maintaining connections with each other. You feel the rumble of the MC's voice from the speakers in the arena. You see the groups of families and friends creating lasting memories and eating their fry bread. And somewhere in the distance, you can hear a pack of wild aunties cackling at their own jokes. And I spoke with one such auntie you may be familiar with from the internet. And I don't mean from snagmyauntie.com. I'm talking about TikTok. That's right, you don't have to only be in person anymore to have access to knee-slapping Native comedy turquoise.
With Native communities, we are able to take things that are probably difficult for us, past things, ugly, yucky things, and really transform and see the beauty in what we have now.
It's an alarm clock or a watch. You use it. We don't run on empty and not doing nothing time here.
So when I think about how I started with this, tough and rough, tell it like it is auntie, I was really trying to get through the pandemic. I wanted her to be a teacher. I wanted her to be somebody who was that funny yet stern auntie that we all have. And I think all Native communities have that one auntie who are multiple aunties who are just tell it like it is, but they're telling you the truth.
Some people will tell you, oh, you can't do that. You're not good enough. Don't listen to them. Those ones are just all jealous or cheap. You listen to auntie here. Don't listen to them.
Sometimes I think maybe Auntie Mayeja is some of the things that I don't necessarily say when it's just me, I want to say it. But when Auntie Mayeja says it, it hits harder and people get it.
So we're going around, as I mentioned, asking people how laughter is healing. And with difficult subjects like this, How do you both manage that?
We're such a force to be reckoned with that we get together and we share stories about our loved ones who are missing, and we just say funny things about them, or we try to have parties where everybody forgets about MMIWR and we just talk about what's going on and we just tell stories and tell jokes. I think it's really important for people to take those moments when they're in trauma to laugh and to think of other ways to deal with their pain, because I think oftentimes when we talk about murdered, missing Indigenous women and relatives, there's not very much laughter.
That's a really powerful way to just be in community. And then what about you? What is the role, the healing role that laughter has played?
As a community, we have to come together and also realize that the peer next to you might be having issues that you can't control or anybody can control, but there's always to find a better way to bring something out, maybe a joke about someone. Like the other day, one of the girls, she said, I was so stressful. My sister here, her name's Raynell Bennett, she was missing, but her sister Anna Lou, she's like, I had to go pick up my sister because she ran away to Shiprock. She was talking about her poster and her flyer and her banner, and she put Raynell next to her and she told her, stop running away. And she said she laughed, but then, she cried. But you have to find your way of leveling it out and always know that there's someone there behind you. And tears come, but there's always going to be laughter.
Laughter can be a really effective tool at helping those who have suffered trauma heal and manage it better. Laughing is known to boost your immune system, relieve pain and stress, lessen feelings of anxiety and depression. All those things victims of colonization and genocide might feel.
When we laugh, we produce these chemical endorphins or whatever you want to call it, if you want to get in the science of it, right? But you laugh and you create humor and you create that self-healing. And this microphone is very powerful. It's very powerful. But the MC that handles the powwow, that's the voice of the powwow. The way that a MC uses his humor, whether it's jokes on the fly, maybe jokes that he created, and but my humor has a lot with my own traditional life experiences, my own growing up on the res with res, similarities that are common amongst other reservations. And then I've lived off the res too, so I have that urban humor, lifestyle, things that just happen funny to natives that travel, that powwow, that kind of just live with blankets on the doors, or res cars, or res dogs. I have mange, I have 3 legs. I use a lot of education in my humor, in my teachings, in my teasing, and I don't just tease anyone. I use teasing in a teaching way. And that's how it was back home. They tease us to teach us, but they'll only tease you if they like you and they love you.
Okay, let's see how many of these stereotypes we covered today. We saw drummers and horses, and there was some dancing, and we talked a little bit about violence. Something sacred, that's me all the time. I bring that sacredness to the set. Okay, so I didn't get a bingo, and we didn't really talk about all those things per se, but that's enough with the jokes. Let's get real for a second. This episode has honestly been kind of stressful to produce, and I really needed today's experience at the gathering to feel somewhat whole again. And I'm saying this all because your mental health is important. Our relatives are okay with you slowing down. They're okay with me slowing down because they understand the work is difficult. And sometimes you just need to sit with people you care about and make them laugh. Thanks for watching. That's all I got. Until next time.